They say you can't put a price on family. But here's what nobody tells you: sometimes family puts a price on you. And when they finally come calling after 10 years of silence, the bill they're looking to collect isn't the one you'd expect. Hello. My name is Florence Miller. I'm 72 years old, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina now. But this story begins in Ridgefield, Connecticut, in a white colonial house with black shutters and a porch light that never went dark. I kept that light on for 38 years. People used to joke about it. "Florence, you trying to guide ships to harbor?" Richard would tease, coming up behind me in the kitchen while I made coffee for whoever might drop by. But he understood. A lit porch meant welcome. It meant come on in, there's always room at our table. We bought that house in 1978. I was 34. Richard was 36. We had 3 kids under 10 and a mortgage that made us hold our breath every month. Richard worked in commercial real estate development. I was a librarian at Ridgefield Elementary. We weren't rich, but we were careful. We saved. We invested quietly. We never spent money on things people could see. The house sat on 2 acres at the end of Meadowbrook Lane. Big maple trees in front. A vegetable garden Richard tended every Saturday morning. The kitchen had yellow wallpaper with tiny flowers. I picked it out in 1981. It was still there when I sold the house last year. Sunday dinners were our religion. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock, the table was set for however many people showed up. Sometimes 8, sometimes 15. Laura brought her boyfriend Brad before they were married. Mike brought Sarah home from college one Thanksgiving and never left without her. Jenny brought friends who didn't have anywhere else to go. I made pot roast, mashed potatoes, green beans with bacon. Richard carved the meat and told terrible jokes. The grandkids would fight over who got to sit in Grandpa's lap after dinner. "Mom, you're going to wear yourself out," Laura used to say, but she'd show up anyway with her boys, Ethan and Noah. Mike never said much. He'd just squeeze my shoulder and say, "Thanks, Ma." Jenny would hug me too tight and say, "I don't know what we'd do without you." I believed her. We had traditions. Christmas Eve cookies. 4th of July on the back lawn. Birthday calls at 7 in the morning, no matter how old you got. When Laura's youngest had the flu, I drove 2 hours to stay with him so she could work. When Mike's business hit trouble in 2008, Richard made some phone calls. When Jenny got divorced, her old bedroom was waiting. I was there. We were always there. Richard used to say, "We're building something here, Flo. Not just a family, a foundation." He'd look around the table at Sunday dinner, at all those faces, and smile. This is what matters. I thought so too. The house was always full of noise. Grandkids running through, doors slamming, Laura on conference calls in the guest room, Mike fixing something in the garage with Richard, Jenny painting in the sunroom we'd converted for her. I had a routine. Monday mornings at the library. Tuesday lunch with my book club. Wednesday evenings, Richard and I would drive to the coast, get fried clams, watch the sunset. Thursdays I volunteered at the food bank. Fridays were for groceries and meal prep. Weekends were for family. Our life had a rhythm. Predictable, comfortable, safe. Richard was the kind of man who remembered everyone's coffee order. Who slipped 20s into Christmas cards. who never said no when someone needed help. He wore the same blue cardigan with elbow patches until I finally threw it out. He read the newspaper front to back every morning. He called me Flo in private and Florence when he wanted to make me laugh. On our 37th anniversary, he took me back to the restaurant where we'd had our first date. A little Italian place in Norwalk. It had new owners, new everything, but we ordered the same thing anyway. Chicken parmesan. House red. Still the best decision I ever made, he said, reaching across the table. What's that? Marrying the girl with the smile. That was Richard. Simple words. Big meaning. I didn't know it would be our last anniversary dinner. The grandkids were growing up. Ethan got accepted to Cornell. Noah made varsity baseball. Mike's daughter Sophie was applying to art schools. Jenny's son Tyler was talking about the Peace Corps. I had photos covering every surface in the house. Richard joked we needed a bigger mantle. I was happy. Tired sometimes, yes. My back hurt from shelving books all day. My knees weren't what they used to be. But happy. I thought we had more time. I thought the porch light would stay on forever. I thought a lot of things. On a Tuesday morning in November, Richard went to fix the gutter. I was inside making soup. I heard a sound. Heavy. Final. By the time I got outside, he was on the ground next to the ladder. His eyes were open but not seeing. The blue cardigan, the new one I'd bought him, was twisted under his shoulder. The ambulance came. The neighbors came. Laura came. Mike came. Jenny came. But Richard didn't. The funeral was on a Saturday. Standing room only. People told stories. Richard helped me when my business went under. Richard visited my dad in the hospital every week. Richard was the best man at my wedding. The house was full again. But different. Quieter underneath all the noise. My children held my hands. Made arrangements. Answered calls. Laura organized the memorial service. Mike handled the estate paperwork with Richard's lawyer, Gerald Thompson. Jenny stayed with me, sleeping in her old room, making tea at 3 in the morning when I couldn't sleep. We're here, Mom, Laura said. We're not going anywhere. Whatever you need, Mike said. We're family, Jenny said. I believed them too. The first few weeks, they called every day. They visited on weekends. They brought groceries. They sat with me while I cried. They told me I didn't have to be strong. I tried not to lean too hard. I knew they had lives. Jobs. Kids. Responsibilities. But I was grateful they were there. The porch light stayed on. I waited for them to come home. I'm still waiting. But not in Ridgefield anymore. The calls stopped first. Not all at once. That would have been easier to name. It was gradual, like watching a candle burn down so slowly you don't notice until the room goes dark. December came, 1 month after Richard died. Laura called on Mondays, then every other Monday, then when she remembered. Mike texted instead of calling. Checking in. You good? Jenny came by less. Work's crazy, Mom. Rain check? I told myself it was natural. They had lives to get back to. Grief doesn't pause your mortgage or your kids' school pickup or your deadline at work. I understood. The first Christmas without Richard, Laura invited me to her house in Westport. I drove 40 minutes with a trunk full of wrapped presents. Ethan opened the door. 16 years old. headphones around his neck. Oh, Grandma. Hi. Not, Grandma. Like it used to be. Just, Grandma. Hi. I walked into chaos. Brad was on a work call in the dining room. Noah was playing video games with the volume too loud. Laura was in the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear, stirring something on the stove. She saw me and held up one finger. Wait. I waited. She finished her call 10 minutes later. Mom, hi. Sorry. Client emergency. Did you park on the street? Brad needs the driveway. I moved my car. Dinner was at 7. We ate in shifts. Brad finished first and went back to his laptop. The boys ate at the counter, still looking at their phones. Laura kept getting up to check something in the other room. I asked about school, about baseball, about college plans. Good. Fine. Yeah, still figuring it out. At 8:30, Laura started clearing plates. Mom, I hate to rush you, but Brad has an early flight. We should probably wrap up. I'd been there 3 hours. I drove home alone. The house was dark. I'd forgotten to leave the porch light on. I called Mike the next day. Hey, Ma, what's up? I was thinking maybe I could come see Sophie's art show next week. She mentioned it at Thanksgiving. Silence. Then, oh, that was last week, actually. It was just a school thing. Not a big deal. You didn't tell me. Yeah, sorry. It was kind of last minute. Hey, I gotta jump. Sarah's calling me. He hung up. I sat in the kitchen. The yellow wallpaper looked dingy in the winter light. I made tea and didn't drink it. January, February, March. My birthday came. 70 years old. Laura sent flowers. The card said, Love, Laura, Brad, Ethan and Noah. Printed, not handwritten. Mike called at noon. Happy birthday, Ma. Sorry I can't make dinner. Work thing. Jenny texted. Happy B-Day, Mom. Love you. Can we do lunch next week? We never did lunch. I spent my birthday alone. I made pot roast anyway. Habit. I ate one plate and put the rest in the freezer. At night, I called Richard's cell phone. It was disconnected. I knew it would be. But I called anyway. The library kept me busy. Work had rhythm, purpose. But Mrs. Patterson in circulation noticed. Florence, you're looking thin. Are you eating? I'm fine, Dorothy. The kids coming by much? They're busy. She squeezed my hand. She didn't believe me. I started noticing things. Facebook photos. Laura's family at the beach. Mike and Sarah at a restaurant. Jenny at a concert. No one had mentioned these plans to me. I commented, looks beautiful. Hope you had fun. No one replied. I tried calling. They were busy. Always busy. Mom, can I call you back? I'm in the middle of something. Hey, Ma, now's not a great time. Mom, I'm running late. Can this wait? It could always wait. Easter came. No invitation. Mother's Day. Laura sent a gift card to a restaurant. $50. For one person. I used it. Ate alone at a table set for 4. The waiter kept asking if I was waiting for someone. No, I said. Just me. That summer, I fell in the garden. Twisted my ankle badly. Couldn't walk. I called Laura. Mom, God, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? I don't think so, but I can't drive. Could you? I'm in Boston for work. Can you call Mike? I called Mike. Ma, damn. Okay. Sarah's got the car. Can you get an Uber to urgent care? I'll pay you back. I took an Uber. The doctor wrapped my ankle, gave me crutches, told me not to be alone for a few days. I went home alone. I called Jenny. Voicemail. I managed. I always managed. I made soup. I kept the freezer stocked. I read books. I watched the birds at the feeder Richard had built. But the house felt bigger, emptier. Every room echoed. September came. Sophie's college applications. I asked Mike if I could help. Thanks, Ma, but we've got it covered. Sarah's on top of it. October. Knows baseball playoffs. I asked Laura for the schedule. Mom, honestly, they're all weeknight games. You don't need to drive all that way. I want to. It's really not necessary. Necessary. As if love was about necessity. November arrived. 1 year since Richard died. I called all 3 kids. I'm making Thanksgiving dinner. Please come. Like we used to. Laura hesitated. Mom, Brad's family is expecting us in Greenwich. You could come here first. For lunch. That's a lot of driving with the boys. Just for an hour. Please. I'll try, Mom. I'll really try. Mike said, let me check with Sarah. Her parents might be coming. Jenny said, of course, Mom. I'll be there. I cleaned the house. I made lists. I bought a 20-pound turkey. I made Richard's stuffing recipe. Sweet potatoes. Green bean casserole. 3 pies. I set the table for 17. Maybe they'd all come. Maybe this would fix things. Thanksgiving morning, I woke at 5. Started cooking. The house smelled like it used to. Butter, sage, cinnamon. At noon, Laura called. Mom, I'm so sorry. Brad's not feeling well. We're going to stay home. Bring him here. I'll take care of him. No, it's okay. We don't want to spread anything. Rain check? At 2, Mike texted. Ma, Sarah's parents surprised us with a visit. Can't make it today. Sorry. At 4, Jenny called. Mom, I feel terrible. Tyler's dad wants him for dinner, and I don't want to make it a custody thing. I'll come by tomorrow. She didn't come tomorrow. I sat at the table. 17 place settings. 17 empty chairs. The turkey got cold. The candles burned down. The sun set. I didn't cry. Not then. I got up. I covered the food. I blew out the candles. I turned off the lights. I walked upstairs. Lay down on the bed. Richard's side was still made, untouched, exactly as he'd left it. They're not coming back, I said to the empty room. And that's when I knew. This wasn't grief. This wasn't busy schedules or bad timing. This was abandonment. I was 70 years old. I'd spent 38 years building a family. And somewhere along the way, I'd become optional. I lay there until morning. When the sun came up, something in me had shifted. I wasn't sad anymore. I was done waiting. Time does something strange when you're alone. It moves slowly when you're watching the clock. Quickly when you look back. 10 years passed. 1 day at a time. 1 missed call at a time. Year 2, I stopped making Sunday dinners. No one was coming anyway. The pot roast went bad in the fridge. I threw it out. Started buying single portions at the grocery store. Lean cuisines. Soup in a can. The checker at Stop and Shop noticed. Just you today, Mrs. Miller? Just me. I tried visiting instead. If they wouldn't come to me, I'd go to them. I drove to Laura's house on a Saturday. No call ahead. I wanted to surprise them. Brad answered the door. He was holding a golf club. Florence. Hi. We weren't expecting you. I know. I brought cookies. I thought maybe the boys. Laura's at a conference. The boys are at friends' houses. I'm actually heading out. He took the cookies, thanked me, closed the door. I stood on the porch for a minute. I could hear the TV inside. I drove home. I tried Mike next. Showed up on a Sunday. Brought lunch from the deli. Sarah opened the door, smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Florence, oh, we're just about to leave for Sophie's game. I could come with you. It's an away game, 2 hours north. We'll be back late. I don't mind. Really, it's okay. We'll call you this week. They didn't call. I learned. I stopped showing up uninvited. Year 3, my book club disbanded. Dorothy Patterson moved to Arizona. Linda Chen died. Margaret Floyd went into assisted living. I was the only one left. I joined a new book club at the library. Nice women, but they had their own families, their own lives. After meetings, they'd say, "This was lovely," and go home to full houses. I went home to silence. Year 4, I had a health scare. Chest pains. Drove myself to the at midnight. They kept me overnight. Observation. It was anxiety, not a heart attack. But they wanted to be sure. I called Laura from the hospital bed. Mom, Jesus. Okay. Do you need me to come? They're releasing me tomorrow, but I can't drive yet. Could you? I've got a huge presentation Monday. Can Mike do it? I called Mike. Ma, God, that's scary. Sarah's got the kids all day. Can you take a cab? I'll Venmo you. I took a cab. The house was dark when I got home. I'd been gone 16 hours. No one had noticed. Year 5, Ethan graduated high school. I saw the announcement on Facebook. Laura posted photos, cap and gown, family photos on the lawn. I wasn't in any of them. I called. Honey, I didn't know about the graduation. I would have come. Oh, Mom. It was just a small thing. Very last minute. The photos look lovely. Big celebration. Pause. Yeah, just close family. You understand. I did. I wasn't close family anymore. Year 6, Sophie got into Rhode Island School of Design. Mike posted about it. So proud of our girl. I sent a card. A check for $500. Congratulations. Sophie texted. Thanks, Grandma. No call. No visit. I wondered if Mike had even told her the money came from me. Year 7, Jenny got engaged. I found out on Instagram. I called her. Jenny, sweetheart, congratulations. When's the wedding? Oh, Mom, yeah. It's going to be super small. Just immediate family. You know how expensive weddings are. I could help. I'd love to. That's okay. We've got it covered. We're keeping it simple. She got married at a vineyard in the Berkshires. 60 people. I saw the photos. Laura was there. Mike was there. All the grandkids. I wasn't invited. I called Gerald Thompson, Richard's lawyer. Our lawyer now. Gerald, can you check something for me? I'd been paying for things. Quietly. For years. A deposit on Mike's business loan. Ethan's first car. Jenny's divorce lawyer. Laura's boys' private school tuition when Brad's company downsized. Richard and I had saved carefully. We'd invested. We had more than people knew. And I'd been helping. Always helping. Florence, Gerald said carefully. You've transferred quite a bit over the years. How much? To all 3 children combined? Over the last 8 years? Close to $400,000. I sat down. They know it's from me? The transfers have your name on them. They knew. They took the money and didn't return my calls. Year 8, I fell again. In the driveway. Ice. My wrist broke. I heard it snap. I drove myself to urgent care. One-handed. Crying from pain. They casted it. Gave me painkillers. Told me not to be alone. I went home alone. I couldn't open jars. Couldn't tie my shoes. Couldn't wash my hair properly. I called all 3 kids. Laura, Mom, I'm slammed at work. Can you hire someone? I'll split the cost with Mike. Mike, Ma, damn. Sarah's visiting her sister. Can you manage for a few days? Jenny, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm dealing with my own stuff right now. I managed. I always managed. Year 9, Tyler applied to colleges. Jenny posted about it constantly. My baby's growing up. So proud of this kid. Can't believe he's leaving soon. I asked Jenny if I could help with applications. With essays. With visits. That's sweet, Mom, but he's got a college counselor. It's all handled. Tyler got into Georgetown. I sent a card. A check for $1,000. No thank you call. Just a text from Jenny. Tyler says thanks. That fall, I turned 70 years old. No party. No call until evening. Laura called at 7. Happy birthday, Mom. Sorry, crazy day. Mike texted. Happy B-Day, Ma. Jenny posted on Facebook. Happy birthday to my amazing mom. Love you. She didn't call. I sat in the kitchen. The yellow wallpaper was peeling near the ceiling. I should fix it. But why? No one was coming to see it. Year 10. Thanksgiving again. I told myself I wouldn't do it. Wouldn't set myself up for disappointment. But hope is a stubborn thing. I called each of them in October. Please come for Thanksgiving. It's been so long. Please. Laura, let me check our schedule. Mike, I'll talk to Sarah. Jenny, of course, Mom. Absolutely. I didn't believe them, but I prepared anyway. I cleaned for a week. I shopped. I made lists. I roasted the turkey the night before. Made the pies. Set the table. 17 places. For everyone. For all the grandkids who'd grown up. For the spouses. For the life I used to have. The table looked beautiful. Richard's good china. The linen napkins. Candles. 2 o'clock came. No one. 3 o'clock. Nothing. 4 o'clock. Laura texted. Mom, so sorry. Plans changed. Next time. Mike called. Ma, Sarah's not feeling well. Rain check? Jenny didn't respond at all. I stood in the dining room. 17 empty chairs. 17 full plates of food going cold. The candles were burning down. I thought about Richard. About Sunday dinners. About all those years when this table was full. They chose this, I said out loud. They chose to leave me here. I walked to the kitchen. Opened the drawer where I kept important papers. Found Gerald Thompson's card. I called him. Gerald, it's Florence. I need to see you Monday morning. First thing. Of course. Is everything all right? No, I said. But it will be. I hung up. Looked at the table one more time. Then I went upstairs. Got a box from the closet. Started packing. I wasn't waiting anymore. I was done being optional. They'd made their choice. Now I was going to make mine. Gerald's office smelled like leather and old books. I'd been there 100 times with Richard. Now I sat alone across from his desk. Florence, walk me through what you want to do. I had a list. I'd made it Thanksgiving night while the turkey dried out downstairs. I want to stop all financial transfers to my children. Effective immediately. Gerald wrote this down. I want to sell the house. He looked up. The Meadowbrook house? Yes. Florence, that's your home. Was my home. Now it's just a building I wait in. He was quiet. I want to move. Somewhere warm. Somewhere new. I want to set up trusts for my grandchildren. Education only. They can't access it until they're 25. The kids don't control it. Understood. And I want to send each of my children a letter. Explaining. Gerald put his pen down. Florence, are you sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. They're going to be upset. They've been upset at me for 10 years. Just in silence. He nodded slowly. All right, let's do it. It took 3 months to arrange everything. The house sold fast. A young family. 2 kids. A dog. They walked through and the wife cried. It's perfect, she said. It feels like a home. It was, I told her. I packed 38 years into boxes. I gave most of it away. The kids' old toys. Richard's clothes. The china we'd received as wedding gifts. I kept 3 things. My wedding photo. Richard's watch. A recipe card in his handwriting for stuffing. Everything else could go. I found a condo in Charleston. 2 bedrooms. Water view. A community with people my age. Book clubs. Volunteering. A life. I moved in March. I didn't tell the kids I was selling. I didn't ask for help packing. I didn't say goodbye to the house. I just left. On my last day in Ridgefield, I stood in the empty living room. The yellow wallpaper was gone. The new owners wanted gray. I turned off the porch light. Then I drove south. The kids found out when the real estate posting went live. Laura called. I was in Virginia. Middle of nowhere. Mom, what the hell? Your house is for sale? Was for sale. It sold. You sold the house? Without telling us? Yes. Where are you going to live? Charleston. Charleston? You don't know anyone in Charleston. Exactly. Silence. Mom, this is insane. You can't just move across the country. I can. I did. We need to talk about this. We needed to talk 10 years ago, Laura. I'm done talking. I hung up. Mike called an hour later. Ma, what's going on? Laura said you're moving? I've moved. I'm in South Carolina now. You didn't tell us. You didn't ask. You never ask. Ma, come on. This isn't fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? My voice cracked. I pulled over. Sat in a rest stop parking lot. I fell twice, Mike. Broke my wrist. Had a health scare. You knew. You all knew. And no one came. We were busy. You're always busy. But you weren't too busy to cash my checks. Silence. I helped you, Mike. I helped all of you. For years. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you couldn't drive 40 minutes to have dinner with me. Ma, I'm not your ATM, Mike. I'm your mother. I was your mother. I hung up. Jenny texted. Mom, please call me. We need to talk. I didn't respond. I arrived in Charleston on a Tuesday. The condo was small, clean, empty. I unpacked slowly, put Richard's photo on the bedside table. We're starting over, I told him. That night, I wrote 3 letters. One to each child. I didn't type them. I wrote by hand. It mattered. Laura's letter. You taught your boys that grandmothers are optional. That love is transactional. That money matters more than time. I hope they never treat you the way you treated me. Mike's letter. Your father would be ashamed. Not of me for leaving. Of you for making me feel like I had to. Jenny's letter. I waited for you. For 10 years, I waited. I'm not waiting anymore. I mailed them on Wednesday. Gerald sent the official financial documents. All transfers stopped. All accounts separated. The trusts for grandchildren established, locked until age 25. I was free. The kids called. I didn't answer. They emailed. Laura, Mom, we need to talk about your finances. This is irresponsible. You're not thinking clearly. Mike, Ma, you're making a huge mistake. Let us help you. Jenny, Mom, please. I'm sorry. Please talk to me. I responded once. One email. CC'd all 3. I am 72 years old. I have never been more clear-headed. You wanted a relationship where I give and you take. That relationship is over. You will receive nothing from me except what I've set aside for your children's education. If you want to repair our relationship, it will cost you time, not money. But understand this: I am no longer waiting by the phone. I am no longer optional. If you come to me now, it's because you choose to. Not because you need something. I didn't sign it. Love, Mom. I signed it. Florence Miller. The responses came fast. Laura, this is manipulative and cruel. Mike, you're punishing us for having lives. Jenny, nothing. I closed my laptop, walked to the window, looked at the water. The sun was setting, orange and pink. Beautiful. My phone rang. Laura. Then Mike. Then Laura again. I turned it off. In the following weeks, I learned Charleston. I joined a yoga class. Met a woman named Patricia who taught watercolor. Started volunteering at a literacy center. I made friends. Real ones. Who asked how I was and waited for the answer. On Thursdays, I had coffee with a group of women. Widows, mostly. We talked about books. About grief. About starting over. My son calls once a month, one woman said. Always rushed. My daughter only visits when she wants something, another added. I didn't say anything, but they understood. 1 month after the move, Gerald called. Florence, the kids are trying to contest the trusts. Can they? No. Everything's ironclad. But they're upset. Good. Florence. Gerald, they had 10 years to be upset that I was alone. Now they're upset that I have boundaries? Let them be upset. He sighed. You're different. I'm the same. I'm just not waiting anymore. 2 months in, Laura showed up. She knocked on my door on a Saturday morning. I looked through the peephole. She looked tired. Older. I opened the door. Mom. Laura. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked through the condo. Looked at the view. The small kitchen. The bare walls. This is where you live now? Yes. It's so small. It's enough. She turned to me. Her eyes were wet. Mom, I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry we didn't visit more. I'm sorry we took my money and ignored me. She flinched. We didn't know you were struggling. I told you. Multiple times. You didn't listen. We were busy. Stop. My voice was sharp. Stop saying you were busy. You were busy for a decade? Too busy to call your mother? It's not that simple. It is that simple, Laura. You chose not to make time for me. That's the truth. She sat down, put her face in her hands. I know. God, I know. I was avoiding you. Finally. Truth. Why? Because seeing you meant dealing with Dad being gone. And I couldn't handle it. So I just stopped. I sat across from her. And the money? She looked up. We needed it. Brad's job. The boys' school. I thought you wanted to help. I did want to help. But I also wanted you to call me. To visit. To remember I existed. We knew you existed. Did you? Because it didn't feel like it. Silence. Laura wiped her eyes. What do you want from me, Mom? I want you to understand that love isn't obligation. It's choice. And for 10 years, you chose to treat me like I didn't matter. You matter. Not enough. She started crying. Really crying. I didn't comfort her. She left an hour later. We didn't hug. I closed the door, leaned against it. My hands were shaking. But I didn't cry. For the first time in 10 years, I felt strong. Charleston teaches you things. The way light hits water at sunrise. The sound of palmetto leaves in the wind. How to walk slowly when you've spent a lifetime rushing. I've been here 18 months now. My condo faces the harbor. Every morning, I have coffee on the balcony. Watch the boats. The tourists. The pelicans diving for fish. Richard's photo sits on the table beside me. You'd like it here, I tell him. I think he would. Life has a rhythm again. Different from before. Smaller. But mine. Tuesdays, I volunteer at the Literacy Center. Help adults learn to read. A woman named Maria, 63, read her first full book last month. She cried. So did I. Wednesdays, watercolor class with Patricia. I'm terrible at it. But Patricia says that's not the point. It's about showing up, she says. About trying. I'm learning that. Thursdays, coffee with the Widows group. We call ourselves that as a joke. The Widows. Like the motorcycle gang. We talk about everything. Gardens. Grandchildren. The men we loved. The families who forgot us. My daughter called, one woman said last week. First time in 6 months. Wanted to borrow money. We all nodded. We understood. What did you say? I asked. I said no. We clapped. Friday nights, I go to the community center. They have dances. Big band music. I don't dance much. But I like watching. Remembering. A man named Walter asked me once. Nice man. Kind eyes. I'm not ready, I told him. That's all right, he said. Neither am I. We sat and talked instead. About his wife. About Richard. About what it means to start over at this age. Saturdays, I walk the beach. 5 miles. My knees hurt less now. The ocean air helps. Sundays, I rest. No more Sunday dinners. No more waiting. Just rest. The kids still call. Sometimes. Laura calls once a month. Short conversations. Updates about the boys. She doesn't ask for money anymore. How are you, Mom? I'm well, Laura. Good. That's good. We don't know how to talk to each other yet. Maybe we never will. Mike texts occasionally. Photos of Sophie's artwork. Brief messages. Thought you'd like to see this, Ma. I respond. Beautiful. It's not much. But it's something. Jenny, though. Jenny surprised me. 3 months after Laura's visit, I got a letter. Handwritten. 8 pages. She'd started therapy. Was working through things. Understanding patterns. Mom, I realize now that I treated you like you'd always be there. Like you were furniture. Permanent. Unbreakable. I took and never gave back. I'm ashamed. I'm working on it. I don't expect forgiveness. But I want you to know I see it now. I see what we did to you. I read it 3 times. Called her. Jenny. Mom. Her voice broke. I'm so sorry. I know. Can I visit, please? She came 2 weeks later. Stayed 3 days. We walked the beach. Drank coffee. Talked. Really talked. She told me about her marriage. Her divorce. How she'd leaned on me for everything and resented me for it at the same time. I needed you to be perfect, she said. And when Dad died, you were just human, grieving. And I didn't know what to do with that. So you left. So I left. I'm sorry, Mom. I believed her. We're rebuilding. Slowly. She calls every Sunday. Sends photos. Visits every few months. It's not what it was. It'll never be what it was. But it's real now. The grandchildren are another story. Gerald set up the trusts exactly as I asked. Education funds. They can't touch them until they're 25. Can't be controlled by their parents. I wrote each grandchild a letter. Sealed. To be opened with the trust. I told them about their grandfather. About love. About showing up. Money is easy, I wrote. Presence is hard. Choose presence. I wonder if they'll understand. Last month, I did something else. I donated $100,000 to the Charleston Literacy Center. In Richard's name. They named a reading room after him. The Richard Miller Learning Center. At the dedication, they asked me to say something. I stood in front of strangers. Looked at his photo on the wall. My husband believed that helping people wasn't about recognition. It was about showing up. Being present. Giving your time, not just your money. I paused. I forgot that for a while. After he died, I gave money. I gave everything I had. But I forgot to ask people to show up for me. My voice shook. Richard would want you to know love is a choice. Every single day. Choose to show up for the people who matter. Don't wait until it's too late. People clapped. But I wasn't finished. And if people don't show up for you, if they take and never give, you're allowed to walk away. You're allowed to choose yourself. The room was quiet. That's not selfish. That's survival. Afterward, a younger woman approached me. Maybe 40. My mother hasn't called in 2 years, she said. But she calls my brother when she needs money. What do you do? I asked. I send it. Because she's my mother. I took her hand. You don't have to. She cried. I stayed until she was ready to leave. Some nights, I sit on my balcony and think about the porch light. For 38 years, I kept it on. Waiting. Welcoming. Now I live in a condo. No porch. No light to leave on. And I'm not waiting anymore. People ask if I'm lonely. Sometimes. Yes. But lonely is different from alone. Alone can be peaceful. Chosen. Lonely is waiting for someone who's never coming. I'm not lonely anymore. I have friends. I have purpose. I have myself. That's enough. Laura asked me last month if I regret moving. No, I said. I regret not moving sooner. But the house was full of ghosts. You, Mike, Jenny, Dad, all of you were ghosts there. We're still here, Mom. Now you are. Where were you then? She didn't answer. I think about Richard constantly. What he'd say about all this. I think he'd be proud. Not of the kids. Not of how things ended. But of me. For finally choosing myself. You always put everyone first, Flo, he used to say. But who puts you first? You do, I'd tell him. What happens when I'm gone? I never answered that question. Now I know. When he was gone, I learned to put myself first. It took 10 years. It took heartbreak. It took loss. But I learned. The greatest revenge isn't anger. It isn't bitterness. It's walking away from a place where you're not respected. It's building a life that doesn't need their approval. It's choosing peace over presence. I'm 72 years old. I've lived more life behind me than ahead. But these 18 months in Charleston? These have been mine. Not my children's. Not my grandchildren's. Not even Richard's, though I carry him with me. Mine. And that's the lesson, I think. You can love people with everything you have. You can give them your time, your money, your heart. But if they don't choose you back, you're allowed to leave. You're allowed to choose yourself. You're allowed to turn off the porch light and walk away. This morning, I had coffee on the balcony. The sun was rising over the harbor. Pink and gold. My phone rang. Jenny. Mom, I'm coming to visit next month. Can I stay with you? Of course. I love you, Mom. I love you too, sweetheart. I hung up, smiled. It's not perfect. It's not what I dreamed. But it's real. And it's enough. I look at Richard's photo. We did okay, I tell him. We raised them. We loved them. We tried. The wind picks up. The palmetto leaves rustle. I like to think that's him. Agreeing. I finish my coffee. Stand up. Stretch. There's a watercolor class this afternoon. The widows group tomorrow. A beach walk on Saturday. A life. Small. Quiet. Mine. I chose myself. And I'd do it again. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it wasn't easy to hear. These things never are. But if you're out there, waiting for someone who never calls, who never shows up, I want you to know you're allowed to stop waiting. You're allowed to choose yourself. It's not giving up. It's waking up. If this story touched you, if it helped you feel less alone, I'd be grateful if you'd subscribe to Grandmama Radio. Hit that like button. Turn on notifications. There are more stories like mine. Stories of women who found their strength late in life. Who learned that kindness isn't weakness, and boundaries aren't cruelty. We're all just trying to figure out how to love people without losing ourselves. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And remember, you matter. Even when they forget. Especially when they forget.